Hi everyone, we are back in Magical Worlds by Johanna Basford, and we are on our second row of candy or sweet designs. So let's have a look at this one. Now this is a sort of house, so we're going to be trying to make it look a little bit like a gingerbread house, I felt, but it looks like it's resting on some donuts, I'm thinking, and we've got candies and icing and other various things going on. So let's make a start and grab the cream rose, which is a sort of beigey browny colour. Now I'm going to do 3 areas of this. I'm going to do these 2 sort of donutty bagel bits and the house with this, so I'm just going to get going. Now I feel this gingerbread house would probably be a bit darker than this. We don't have a really dark gingerbready colour, but I just thought I would put some of this down and then have a think, really, see whether there's a colour I could use to make it dark, or just leave it. I mean, it could be a cake, you know, like a sponge cake or something. It doesn't necessarily have to be gingerbread, but of course gingerbread feels like the right sort of thing, doesn't it, really? But I'm going to do these donuts in this colour as well, and then I might put a few more layers on this and see whether it makes a significant difference. I think these can stay a bit paler. They often are, aren't they? And the gingerbread's usually a bit darker, so that's how I'll do it. Now that I did have a great way of colouring gingerbread using, I think it was Prismacolor pencils. You had to put some white on top of the colour, and it was quite a lot of layers and intense. It was a really good colouring. I think it was from Jennifer Zimmerman's, what's her book called? She has 2 volumes of colouring tutorial books. It's the second one. I've got a flip through on my channel. If you look up Jennifer, you'll find it. But it was a very useful book for doing gingerbread men, and obviously you could use it for gingerbread houses as well, because they are the same. But we're going to keep this one a little bit more simple, and with our set of pencils we haven't got quite the flexibility that you have for that particular need for that tutorial, because you need to do lots of layers and white, and in fact it starts with a pen. I think you do a base of Copic marker. I actually just used pencil because I didn't have one. It probably didn't work as well, but you know. Actually, I've also done a tutorial using that tutorial, does that make sense? This is the carnation, and a little bit on top of here. I think it might help make it look a bit more gingerbready. Yeah, I did a gingerbread man in a Matchstick Mouse Christmas book using her tutorial. So that is available somewhere on the channel. Matchstick Mouse Christmas, if you look that up you'll find it. Now looking up videos is not that easy on the app, on the YouTube app, because you can't look up within the channel. You can only look up generally across the whole of YouTube. So if you put in gingerbread man or something, oh, that's my button on the desk, you'll get a huge variety of different videos. If you look it up within my channel, you only get 1, 2, maybe. I always think I know how many I've done, and then I'm wrong. Probably 2 or 3. This is amarylis, and I'm going to use this for this bit of icing. So yes, you can, but if you're on the app it searches the whole of the internet, so you'll probably end up on someone else's channel. So you'll have to put my channel name in your search in order to find me, really. There we go. Now something that, these look like they've got sprinkles on. Excuse me, I've just had a coffee, it's making me gurgle. I'm trying to make this a little bit lighter in the middle. See there? But you don't have to do. I don't know why. It's just a habit. I don't know whether we gain anything from that. But anyway, what was I saying? I don't know. I distracted myself. Oh yeah, sprinkles. See, these look like they've got sprinkles on. Now you can leave it just black like this, which is what I'm going to do. But if you want to, well, I might not. Actually, you could use some pens to colour them. So, and that will cover up the black. So you could use, I find Posca paint pens are quite good. I've got some sort of pastel coloured ones, so they're quite good for this sort of thing. Not that I've got them here, so I'll have to do something different, but that's okay. Now we have a bit of, this is Blushing Rose, a bit of this dribbly stuff here. Watch, I'm going to use this because I think it goes with this colour quite well. Because this is sort of pinky orange and this is sort of orangey pink. Like that. And we will do a bigger range of colour as we come down here. There we go. Our front door is got this stripe like it's a candy cane type design. I'm just having a think while I do up my cardigan because I've gone off really cold. I went downstairs, it was really cold down there. I don't know why, but anyway, especially as husband and been cooking. I think I'm going to use the camelia, so it's a pink, a very bright pink colour for our stripes. I'm going to try and leave a bit of a lighter area in the centre. See what happens. I think that's okay. It's quite subtle, which is what I wanted really. There we go. And I'm quite happy with leaving the white stripe with that. Now the window. In a gingerbread house I would normally do a window to look glassy and see-through. Sorry, I stifled a yawn then. So I think I might just use the jasmine actually. It's a very fluorescent yellow. It's really hard to see the name. But I think it might give that sort of candy window look. It is quite green. It's supposed to be yellow, I think. But, the door itself, usually I do gingerbread house doors. I usually do them in chocolate, you know, a dark brown. Same colour as the house, maybe? I think so, because I sort of think, well, it's probably likely to be made of the same. So, cream rose. It's probably likely to be made of the same stuff as the house. Or, yeah, all chocolate. It wouldn't be made of like candy, so I can't see how I could make it pink or purple or green. You know what I mean? So that's why. And then over the top we use the carnation. I'm leaving that handle because we can easily put anything on there as a little blob of icing. Could be white. You know, if you're thinking Christmas gingerbread houses, probably be white. I may colour it in. I'm going to have a think. I'm going to go up to the chimney and do this first. So I'm going to go along this sort of orangey theme with coral blush. I got to sharpen it though. It was a lovely sunny day today. After all the storms of the weekend and the rain, you know, it's nice because hopefully it's drying things up for people who've flooded, etc. Fortunately, here was okay, but the trains weren't running because there were floods on the tracks, and then they had to inspect them after to make sure they were safe. Which I know it's annoying, but obviously very important and appreciated. So my son, only one of my sons went to uni. Luckily there's a bus which gets him there on time, so he was okay, he used the bus. This is the almond rose. There's a lot of colours called something rose in this set, I have observed, which I find quite interesting. There we go. Now we have, I'm going to match the door handle with that actually. So I'm going to use the coral blush for the door handle. There we go. Now, these almost symmetrical, the lollies look the same, and the brown ones look the same, and then these two look different. I think we'll, yeah, gonna go green and yellow for the lolly. I think the juniper lime will work for the green bit. There we are. Yes, it was all fun and games yesterday with the storm. My neighbour came round panicking that he thought a tree was close to falling. But I wasn't sure that it looked, it is at a very steep angle, but I wasn't sure that it looked much different to normal. It was blowing in the wind, but as were most things. But I did report it to the council for someone to come and look at it. But I'm not convinced it's actually that much different. But even if it isn't that much different, this is the, do I want this colour? Yeah, this is the magnolia. Just because it wasn't necessarily about to go, you know, it's worth someone looking at it and maybe keeping an eye on it, because you never know. But I actually went out for most of the day and we went to visit father-in-law, and he had a collection of letters and photographs and things for us, which he's having a big sort out of all his things. And he had a very interesting letter. This is called Perle. We're going to use it for these lollies. My son was reading a letter that his mother had written to his father, which was quite interesting. And there were lots of other things that he'd kept, and letters and papers and documents and things. And it made me think there's nothing like that in my family, I was thinking. But my gran used to keep a diary, and one of my cousins did inherit those, but actually she wasn't a big writer. She didn't really, this is jellybean, write an awful lot of interesting things in there, really. It was just about that she'd gone to the hairdressers or seen my dad, or, you know, things like that. It wasn't massively exciting. But I have a feeling that probably there are two reasons I think letters weren't written in my families. I think that it's probably likely that they may not have been able to read or write, going back a few generations, because they weren't wealthy. So they're certainly not old things at all, you know. I think my father's family were quite well off. They did a lot of work for Ordnance Survey, who make, you know, the maps. But he didn't keep close contact with all of them, and I think some of the other family members did. So anything related to that we would never have seen. This is foxglove to do the icing on this one. But my gran's family weren't at all well off, and my mother's families weren't either. I know her father could read and write, but she didn't know much about many of her grandparents, and the women would not necessarily have gone to school. You know, my gran did, but I don't know whether her mother did. You know, and I think my gran left school at 14 and went straight out to work. So they weren't, and also another reason why I think there weren't letters was that they all lived nearby. So they lived next to each other, they would just go and visit each other, they didn't need to write a letter, you know. So I think that was huge as well. And I think richer families, like these letters, were people who went out to India and Africa and countries and things like that, whereas that didn't happen, you know. So that, and there was not really a need to write. But I know that some of my gran's brothers were in the war, so they may have written letters then. But I don't know if they did or not. I've never heard of any or seen any. But then some people don't keep things, and some people do. And I think this is interesting too. This is the tickle pink. I'm going to use it for some of these sprinkles. My family don't really keep things. I think partly, I wonder again, to do with the fact that their houses aren't very big. They don't have space. Where do you keep things and stuff, you know? Oops, I don't have enough space for all my stuff. This is saffron, let alone everybody else's stuff. He also sent us home with a couple of bags of Lego. When the boys were young, they used to play with Lego at their grandfather's house, and it was the Lego that had belonged to their dad and their dad's brother. So it's 1970s Lego, and it was he was going to burn it. This is wisteria. Now that's just, I don't know why he thought that that was the right thing to do with it, not put it in a charity shop. But my son had apparently spoken to him about it, and because he said he was going to burn it, my son said, well, have it, because he just didn't wanted to save his grandpa from burning plastic and inhaling all those nasties. But we may very well keep it, I don't know. This is greenflower. We haven't really talked about it at all, because you know, we have a charity shop down the road we could potentially donate it to, because we do have loads of, I can't work out if I've coloured that one or not. I'm just going to do it in this colour anyway. Now, these little sticks, the lolly sticks, I'm going to use a bit of grey with those, because I think otherwise they're just going to look like I haven't done anything with them, the winterberry. I want them just, because there's no background, they just look the same, so I'm just putting a bit of grey over them. You don't have to if you like them white, or you can do them beige, but then they'll blend into our fake gingerbread. I'm going to put a little tiny bit of grey on the edge of these white bits, as I have in previous pictures. There we go. So that is our beginning. Now we're going to use our cool grey deep to put some shadows in, like we have on all of the others. I think it's quite nice to keep it simple and not use too many other colours from the other pencil set. I think it's working out quite well. So you can see what I'm doing. Just putting some marks down where I think there might be a shadow from whatever the object is. Like that. There we go. But it was a very interesting visit. Looking at these papers and things, and one of the letters they kept I'd written in the year 2000, and it was a thank you letter for our wedding presents. So that was interesting, but I certainly won't be wanting to keep it. But I got a bit more news about other family members as well, which was nice. I don't always get to find out what's going on with them. My nephew and niece, one of them, the older one, my nephew, is doing his GCSEs this year, and he's hoping to be able to go to a private school to do his A-levels. I'm not really sure why. We don't know whether it offers subjects that his school doesn't, or whether he just wants a bit of a change, or whether he thinks it will give him a better chance of going to university. We just aren't really sure why, but he's got this idea in mind to do that. He had some interviews for that which he felt went well. Now I'm going to use my silver to do some outlining like we have on the other ones. I'm not sure I'm going to use any gold on this one, maybe just silver, but we'll see. Now it's actually much more effective if you try and stay on the line, but I'm not very good at it, so I just do the best I can. I don't want to get myself too stressed up about staying in the line. I think if I did, I would get very worried and go very slow, and that would take the enjoyment out of colouring for me, which I certainly want to avoid. So. Oh, and father-in-law had also put a pump in his lake, so there was water flowing down his ditch, which he was very excited to show us. It was quite interesting. It meant that we all got muddy trousers as soon as we arrived, which was because we walked across the garden, and there's quite long grass in the area we were at. It's got a very big garden, but yeah, it was interesting and to see, and he was very excited to show us. His neighbour has been helping him, and his neighbour was there, so that was nice. Doesn't look like I coloured that one, does it? You can put some shine over your around the sprinkles or over the top as well if you want. If you're putting them over the top, you probably want to use a clear glitter pen rather than a silver one. I don't think I've gone around these lollies. I haven't. Now you don't have to add the glitter pen at all, but I just think because it's December we have to. It's the law, isn't it? Is it? I'm not sure. I'm just going to use a green one to fill that in. Might be yellow, but anyway, it's done now. So there we go. If I tip it, you can probably see some of the glitter, maybe. I can't actually see it myself. I hope I actually put some on. Oh, I can see actually I've missed all this. I just heard the letterbox. I'll go and investigate in a minute. I think that's what I heard anyway. Your husband has just got up to look. And also this bear. Yeah, he's off today, not at work. Right, there is that done, I think. Thank you for watching. I hope that you have a really super day. And happy colouring.